Hello programmers! Today we're going to talk a little bit about Android Studio, and I've already installed Android Studio version 3.3.2. I'm going to start a new Android Studio project, and my favorite way to start is with the blank activity. And from here I'll hit next, and you can choose your application name. Mine is going to be a monkey example because everything's better with a monkey. Then we've got our package name. There'll be folders or directories for com example, monkey example. We're going to be working in Java. And then there is a pull down menu with the different APIs, and there's a link here I like to click on, help me choose, that'll show you for the different versions of the Android platform. If you choose the latest greatest Oreo version, there's a lot of new features in that, but only about 1.1% of the Android phones out there or tablets will be able to use your app. A lot of people have older devices, and so something like Jelly Bean 4.1, well, 99.6% of the tablets and phones out there that are Android will be able to run your app. So that seems like a better place to develop for right now, so I'm going to stick with that, the Jelly Bean 4.1, and I'll hit finish, and then it takes a while to load up. Alright, it's loaded. There's a bunch of expandable memories on the left side, so I'm going to first expand app, and then I'm going to expand RES for resources, then I'm going to expand drawable, and I'm going to put any images that I want to include, graphics that I want to include in my app here, and I have a bunch of them set up that I'm going to copy and paste in. So you'll find your images that you want and you can just drag them over to that drawable folder. You'll get a pop-up message, and I do want to move these specified images into the resources folder. And so I'll move them over, and then we've also got, which opens as a default, the content_main.xml file, and we want to deal with that. If you don't have that already open, it's under the layout, so under app and then RES for resources and layout. So here it always starts out with this little hello world. I'm going to just highlight that and hit X. I don't need that. Instead I'm going to have a button, and I'm going to have an image view that I'm going to put on my app. And the image view, I need to figure out, well, which image do I want to put here? And I had just uploaded some images of monkeys. I'm going to pick the monkey with his arms up as the image. So that was in my drawable folder. Now, when you're looking over here, there's a couple different things that you can do when you're designing this. There's a pull-down menu. You can go from the blueprint to the design, or the blueprint and the design. I'm going to just stick with the design view here. And there's some plus and minuses. We can zoom in or zoom out. This seems about right. And also we can take a look at this app in landscape mode. What's it going to look like? Not too good in landscape mode. And portrait mode. There's a pull down menu for a bunch of different types of phones if we want to see how it will look on those phones. Also, when we click on the different components here, the buttons or the image, we see over here, this is where you can put constraints, saying something like the button should be a certain size from the top of the device, or centered, or something like that. And there's some buttons up here. I'm going to, let's see what we can do. Take a look at some of these buttons. We are going to, let's just do the magic wand and let it infer the constraints for us. It'll figure out based on how we had dragged those onto the device about what we were looking at. So it figured out that we wanted the button about 87 pixels from the top of this device, and that the monkey is going to be under the button 72 pixels. Okay, so let's stick with that, and let's get this button mapped up to do something. I'm going to click on the button and change the text. The text is over here to the right. I'm going to change it from just the word button to go up. So we're going to try to make the monkey go up. There's not a lot of constraints listed here, right here under the attributes. I'm going to do view all attributes, and we can change more of these properties of this component, this button that we've got added here. So I'm going to change for certain the text size, because I'm finding it quite hard to read the text on the button. So we've got, if you don't see what you want in the pull down menu, you can really just type in anything you want. So I've got my go up, and then my monkey, I'm happy with the image of the monkey, the size of that. Alright, so now let's hook up this monkey to actually do something when someone hits this button. So I'm going to go back and look at just the simple view of those attributes and look at the monkey instead. So I click on the monkey, there's an ID. I'm going to change the ID to my monkey because I've pre-written some code that uses the my monkey as the ID. And then I'm also going to change, if somebody clicks on this button go up, I want to actually run a function. We'll end up putting that here in this on click section, but first I need to edit the Java code to actually add the function in there. So you could find it under the Java folder, and if you expand that first folder, main activity is the default name for your Java code that'll go along with this app. It happens to be already open in this first tab, so I'm going to go over there. There's a little more here than I actually need, so I'm going to simplify this code and paste in a simpler version of this main activity class. So the main activity class extends from the app compact activity, so that's the parent class, and we're using inheritance here. We're going to use something called an image view, and it's highlighted in red, and if I hold my mouse over it, says do Alt and then Enter. So hold down Alt plus Enter, and it will realize that it needs to actually import the image view class to be able to use it. Same thing with my animation drawable. I'll do Alt Enter and that'll fix that. And now what I've done is I've made a small function called dance that takes a view, and it will find by the ID, it'll find the my monkey image. So I had added the ID to this image view and said call this my monkey. So now we've got a handle on that, and now I'm going to set some resources. The resource is going to be the monkey animation, and that is something I dragged in. It's an XML file we'll take a look at later. And then I'm going to go ahead and do an animation drawable and get all the different pictures that are involved in making this monkey look animated, and then I've got to start dancing. I also talked about, well, what about having the monkey go up like the button suggests? So I'm going to add a function for go up. What does it mean for that monkey to go up? Well, we'll get a handle on the ID my monkey. We'll get the y coordinate of his position, his or her position on the screen, and then we're going to set a different y coordinate, something 20 smaller than whatever the original position was in the y direction. Okay, so let's map this go up button and have every time someone clicks on that, our monkey is going to go up. I'm going to test this out by running this app in an emulator. So when I click on the go up button, my monkey certainly does go up and up and up and up, and then he's going to be hidden behind. So we could easily write a go down, a go left, and go right. But let me show you what the animation looks like. So I'm going to pause this. I'm going to hit the red button that's a square to pause that, and I'm going to go back to the XML that we had dragged in along with the images. So I had dragged in a bunch of images, one with the monkey with his arms up, the happy monkey, facing forward monkey, the idle monkey, and I also dragged in a monkey animation. And we will take a look at this. So what does this have in it? It has some XML. Hopefully it's easy for you guys to see. I could zoom in. Okay, zoomed in a little bit. So this XML, extensible markup language, has a list of the different graphics in our animation. So to make it look like this monkey's animated, I'm first going to show this first graphic, the monkey underscore idle.png, then I'll show the monkey arms up, then I'll show the monkey arms up happy, then the monkey face forward, and it'll kind of look like he's animated and he's dancing around. And then I have a duration of how long do I want him to hold each pose. I'm going to shorten this a little bit so he's not in each pose quite so long. And then the one shot of, do I want to make it look like he is continually moving? I'm going to say, instead of doing it as a one shot, I want him to keep going. So we can go ahead and save that, and then let's add another button. Let me do save. Let's add another button on our content underscore main XML for the dancing action. I'll move this to the bottom right hand or bottom left hand corner, and I'll call it dance, and I'll leave the font size small and just zoom in so we can see it. Alright, now let's hook this button up to the dance activity or the dance function that we put in the Java file, and let's run the app. And now, this is a good lesson of if you don't have any constraints on your button, like I didn't have any constraints on the dance button, it goes up into the left, upper left corner, and we'll hit dance, and then he's animated maybe a little too fast, but pretty awesome looking.